It's the only place in Australia, perhaps the world, where Friesian cows outnumber people 4 to 1. Unheard of? Not on King Island. 110,000 hectares of fertile soil. An isolated sanctuary where the cow is king. Pure. Natural. Little wonder our dairy is synonymous with purity. King Island Dairy was established in 1902 and has enjoyed a rich and substantial dairying history for over 100 years. Originally a butter factory, it evolved after 80 years to begin producing one of Australia's leading specialty cheese brands. King Island Dairy has a world-renowned reputation for its fine produce that's been built from passion, expertise and craftsmanship. Oasis 64 kilometres long and 27 kilometres wide, King Island is quite literally a drop in the Great Southern Ocean. An unspoiled haven nestled neatly in the Bass Strait off the northwest tip of Tasmania. Located on 40 degrees latitude, King Island is subjected to the roaring 40s, famous trade winds that can travel up to 100 kilometres per hour. It was these westerly winds in the 1800s that battered the King Island coastline and shipwrecked over 60 French and English vessels. Legend has it, straw mattresses containing dried grass seeds from France and England were swept ashore from these wrecks. These seeds then germinated in the rich King Island soil, creating the lush pastures we see today. And now, 200 years later, the cows of King Island graze contentedly on this luscious grass, producing a supremely pure, natural and delicious milk reputed to be the sweetest in the land. From the richly grassed pastures of King Island comes the unique King Island Dairy Milk. This sweet milk is used to produce our exquisite King Island Dairy specialty cheeses. Pure creams, indulgent yogurts and delectable desserts. All King Island Dairy products are made on King Island and are produced using King Island Dairy Milk. The quality of King Island's pastures, its clean environment, moderate temperature in both winter and summer, and year-round rainfall enables King Island Dairy to continually produce premium and consistent product. Cheese is as individual as wine and varies greatly according to its history and style, as well as its origin, make and maturation. Because only natural ingredients are used in our cheese-making process, each cheese style has its own unique quality. The flavour, however, remains consistent. Even though King Island Dairy has developed and grown over the last 100 years, the quality of the cheese-making has remained paramount, as one would expect from cheesemakers who might just as appropriately be called artists. Here at King Island Dairy, we use traditional cheese-making techniques. Every cheese is individual, and every cheese is made right here on King Island. Good cheese-making is all about identifying and reacting to what the cheese is telling you, then adjusting your processes to suit. Just because we've grown doesn't mean we've lost any of the artistry and care we put into creating our cheeses. There are essentially 12 steps to the art of cheesemaking. Most Australian cheese is made from standardised milk. During standardisation, the ratio of protein and fat in the milk is adjusted to a preset value to ensure the cheese composition is uniform. All Australian cheeses are made from pasteurised milk. The milk is heated at a minimum of 72 degrees for 15 seconds, then rapidly cooled. This process destroys disease-producing microorganisms, provides a more consistently safe cheese product, and improves the keeping quality of the cheese. The cheese starter cultures are selected bacteria, which assist in developing the cheese's texture and flavour. The type and quantity of starter culture varies for each style of cheese. Coagulation of the milk is the first step in converting the liquid milk to a solid cheese. Milk for fresh cheese is coagulated by the lactic acid from the starters. For mature cheese, an enzyme in rennet is added to the milk, which converts it to a gel. When the milk is set, the curds release whey, thereby concentrating the curds. Cutting the curds releases more whey. Finely cut curds have a large surface area and so release more whey to produce a drier cheese. Stirring keeps the curds apart and helps to release more whey. The type of cheese being made will influence the number of stirrings required. Soft cheeses require less stirring than harder cheeses. Cooking the curds helps remove more whey. Most fresh cheeses are not cooked, whereas drier, mature cheeses such as King Island Dairy Cheddar can be cooked at up to 40 degrees Celsius. Once the curds have achieved the correct firmness and acidity, they are placed into hoops or moulds to form the shape of the cheese. The cheese stays in the hoops for up to 16 hours, dependent on the type and size of cheese. Most semi-hard cheeses are pressed in mechanical presses. Pressing assists curds fusion, closes the texture, and helps remove more whey. Most of the whey needs to be drained to mature the cheese. Most soft cheeses, such as King Island Dairy's Camemberts and Blues, are not pressed. Soft cheeses are turned in their hoops to remove excess whey. Salting is an important step in the cheese-making process. It not only enhances the flavour and preserves the cheese, it also helps control texture and maturation. The two techniques for salting are: it can be added to the curds prior to hooping, as is the case for cheddar, or it can be added the day after hooping and draining, as is the case for soft ripened cheeses. Where salt is added after, the cheese can either be dry salted or brine salted, that is, placed in brine solution for a fixed period of time. During maturation, the enzymes in the cheese break down the fat and protein, allowing the textural flavour characteristics of the cheese to develop. The main enzyme sources are the milk, starter and mould. Maturation occurs at an average temperature of 12 degrees Celsius, and some cheeses also require humidity control. Blue vein cheeses are pierced after salting to encourage the growth of blue mould. It takes an average of 1 week for white mould to appear and 2 weeks for blue mould. Aroma cultures can also be used during maturation. This is the case for King Island Dairy Stormy, a washed rind cheese where the surface is hand brushed 2 to 3 times with Brevi linen cultures to produce colour and flavour effects. The time from making to wrapping changes depending on the style of cheese. Soft white mould ripened cheeses like Brie and Camembert, 10 days. Blue vein cheeses, 2 months. And cheddar, a minimum of 6 months and up to 24 months or longer. Coaxing the array of flavours cannot be done without the laying on of knowledgeable hands at each stage. King Island Dairy cheesemaking can be a labour-intensive process due to the commitment to traditional methods and a wide range of products. There are multiple options for wrapping cheese. Packaging is specifically designed for each type of cheese, depending on flavour and moisture content. For example, some King Island Dairy cheeses are waxed for protection and to produce differing flavour profiles. White moulds use unique wrapping materials to allow the product to continue to mature and develop. And the King Island Dairy's blue cheese range is generally wrapped in laminated foil to prevent the rind from drying out. Let's meet the cheesemaker. Swiss-born Uli Berger is King Island Dairy's master cheesemaker. He has an inexhaustible passion for cheese, which began early in life as the son of a dairy farmer and grandson of a cheesemaker. You could say cheese runs through Uli's veins.
In my eyes, cheese making is really an art form. You have to use all your senses. You have to come in the room, you have to smell, you have to feel, you have to taste the cheese. On the end of the day, the cheese actually tells you something. It tells you what it needs, what it wants. And so it is so critical that you then can take it back into the cheese vat on the just production run. So next day, your babies are happy again. You can help it if it looks a little bit sweaty, you know, or the starter is working a bit slow or something, so you can go and fix it the next day. So it's really nice to have this hands-on equipment here where you still can do it, where you still have to do it by hand. It's not a machine that hasn't got any feeling, it's the humans who still can do it. Yeah, so that's the critical point, and that's what it's all about.
Berger spent many hours as a youngster observing his grandfather's skills in the cheese room.
Switzerland was a little bit small when I grew up, and I want to see the world, and King Island approached me if I would like to come across here. So for the last 8 years now, I'm here on King Island.
After studying cheesemaking in Switzerland for 3 years, Berger was chosen from a group of 48 cheesemakers to work for an Australian soft cheese manufacturer. His fondness for the country saw him settle in Tasmania for 20 years. He moved to King Island in 1998 to become King Island Dairy's head cheesemaker. With a career now spanning more than 25 years, Berger's talent has not gone unnoticed. He's earned acclaim both nationally and internationally.
So I go quite regularly to the mainland to see what's around, the different shows and things like that. Plus I do an odd trip to Europe to keep up with what's new. And so we just keep on top of it and all the time can stay up with what's the newest out there. Yeah.